All right, let's switch gears and get to this. Could criminal charges be looming for the Clintons?
Some veteran lawyers say the Clinton Foundation's questionable handling of donations could lead to big legal issues. But what could that mean for her presidential run?
Well, joining us now to weigh in is the governor of Wisconsin and believed to be a presidential candidate, Scott Walker. Governor, thanks for joining us this morning.
Great to be with you this morning.
So we just saw the governor of Virginia and his wife go to prison for influence peddling, taking a Rolex watch and pretty small potatoes amount of money. Here you have the Clintons, who personally received tens of millions of dollars from foreign governments hoping to influence American policy. Should there be a criminal investigation into these allegations?
Well, I think it's part of a pattern we see, and there's a different set of rules for the Clintons, or at least in their mind there is, than there is for the rest of us in America. And whether it's criminal or not, I think the bottom line is that Americans need to look at this very closely and say, is this what we want out of the next president? It's bad enough that with the policies Hillary Clinton embraces, we'd have a third term of Barack Obama's policies. In this case, a whole different set of standards, and I don't think Americans want that. They want people to live by the laws, the same laws that all of us have to live by.
Well, I guess the question, though, that's being asked, Governor, is should there be a criminal investigation based on the allegations that have been made in this book? Does this rise to the level of a grand jury asking more questions about the connection between contributions, payments to former President Clinton, and State Department policy changes?
Well, I've seen the top-line reports on this. I'd have to read more into the details, but if it goes where it appears to be headed, I think that certainly would be warranted. It's a legitimate concern to see what was the influence there and whether or not, much as many of us raised concerns about the emails, it wasn't just the fact that she had a separate server and a separate set of rules, but real questions about sensitive information that was conveyed about State Department issues and national security issues. If they weren't confidential, at least they were certainly sensitive. Again, we saw a different set of rules with the emails and how the Clintons responded to that. We now see it in this case. And I think it's legitimate to have investigations at any different level.
Governor Walker, before we continue on with a different topic, just quickly, as you look down the track, how much of an impact is this going to have on Hillary Clinton as this evidence begins to mount up? It's not just right-wing media that's covering it. The New York Times is covering it. But it's a complicated story. And how much does this story matter to the average viewer? Are they starting to glaze over?
Well, two parts. One, yeah, she certainly can't convey the phrase she used about 2 decades ago, that it's a vast right-wing conspiracy, when plenty of publications across the political spectrum are raising very legitimate concerns about this. But I think in the broader context where this is a problem for Hillary Clinton, the fact it's part of a pattern. It's part of a pattern. If people look at what Hillary Clinton represents, it's not just a third term of Barack Obama. She's going to try and convey a third term of Bill Clinton. That's not the case at all. It's really a third term of Barack Obama's policies. But even beyond that, this belief that I think most of us look at the difference here and see Hillary Clinton represents the top-down, government knows best. Washington will tell you what to do, when to do, and how to do it. And I don't think that's what Americans want now.
So, Governor Walker, you made a pretty clear point, the first of the potential candidates to make it the other day, when you said massive legal immigration depresses wages for low-income Americans. You were pounced on by Ted Cruz, senator from Texas. He said this to the Washington Examiner, quote, "I think it's a mistake for any politician, on the one hand, to embrace amnesty, embrace a pathway to citizenship for those here illegally, and on the other hand, seek to restrict or punish legal immigrants. I think the right approach is to secure the border, follow the rule of law, and embrace and improve legal immigration." How do you respond to that?
Well, this is a lot of what we hear out of Washington, is the people that misinterpret or outright say what's not accurate. In this case, I oppose amnesty. I believe if someone wants to become a citizen, they need to go back to their country of origin, get in line just like anyone else. I think first and foremost, though, we've got to secure the border. We use E-Verify, a requirement of all employers to uphold the law in this country, whether it's a small business, big business, farmer, rancher, anywhere else. And then as we go forward with the next president and the next Congress, as we look at legal immigration, our focus, and remember, under this president today, we already have limitations. So we're not talking about putting restrictions on when we already don't have them. We have them today, even under Barack Obama. What I'm saying is, when we talk about what should be the policy on legal immigration, it should be driven by the economic impact. And number one on that list of priorities should be, what is the impact on American workers and American wages? If unemployment is high and labor participation is low, why would we want to open the door and flood the market with more workers at a time when our own people here are looking for work? Conversely, as the economy improves Of course we can look at ways to open the doors for more immigration. We're a country of immigrants, but we're also a country of laws, and we should be looking out for the American worker in everything we do, from immigration to tax policy to welfare reform and everything. I'm going to stand for the American worker.
Amen.
Well, you kicked off a tour in Iowa. You're at the Faith and Freedom Summit. It's your 4th trip this year. The state holds the first nominating contest, of course, in the 2016 presidential campaign. You're saying that you're waiting until June to declare because you want to make sure the Wisconsin budget is finalized. What is that going to look like when you do decide to throw your hat in the ring, if you do?
Well, we're going to talk about big, bold ideas if we were to get in. It's one of those things, it's a hallmark of each of the 3 campaigns I've run for governor in the past 4 years in Wisconsin, a state, obviously, the neighbors Iowa, but a state that hadn't gone Republican for president since 1984. And if we chose to get in, we'd be talking about the things I'm talking about today, about how to help the people of this country grow the economy, not through more government, but by getting government out of the way, talking about how to reform government by taking the power out of Washington and putting it in the hands of the hardworking taxpayers, and most importantly these days, talking about how to provide safety for our children and our grandchildren by securing not just our borders, but our country from threats around the world like radical Islamic terrorism.
Amen. Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin joining us live this morning from Iowa. Thanks all for coming on, Governor. Good to see you.
Good luck and be safe, Governor.
Thank you.